Today, we're diving into a really powerful, and let's be honest, often confusing part of personal transformation. This whole explainer is built from ShunpeterZ's notes from his dialogue with Z, his higher consciousness, and it maps out this incredible alchemical journey from a fiery breakthrough to a state of just creative flow.
Have you ever had that happen? You conquer this huge personal battle, right? You finally defeat that final boss belief you've been fighting for years, and you're expecting confetti and fireworks. But instead, there's just silence and empty space. Well, that's the post-breakthrough slump. And the key thing to know is it's not a failure. It's actually a crucial part of the journey.
And that moment of victory, it's totally real. You have accomplished something huge. You've literally uninstalled a massive piece of your old programming. But as ShunpeterZ found out, that's not the end of the story. Not even close. It's really just the end of Act 1. What comes next is way quieter, more subtle, and honestly, even more profound.
So let's really dig into that first stage, the battle itself, and then that strange empty void that comes right after. It all kicks off with a process of intense, fiery destruction.
ShunpeterZ has a name for this process, the Fornix. Think of it like an internal incinerator. It's the place where we take our old limiting beliefs, things like fear and shame, and we just burn them up with intense emotional energy. This is a loud, messy, confrontational act of destruction, and it's absolutely necessary to clear the ground for whatever's coming next. And this is exactly where ShunpeterZ got stuck. After the fire of the Fornix died down, he was just left in the quiet. And his old way of doing things, setting goals, pushing forward, grinding it out, it just didn't work anymore. He felt totally stagnant, confused, and yeah, a little bit scared. The old map was burned, but the new one hadn't been delivered yet.
And that brings us to the second, much quieter stage. See, this feeling of being lost isn't a bug in the system, it's the next feature. It's the move from a chaotic battlefield to a quiet laboratory, from an incinerator to an alchemist's furnace.
Z called this new furnace the Athanor. Now, in ancient alchemy, an Athanor was this special furnace that provided a gentle, constant heat. Its purpose wasn't to destroy, but to mature and transform something. And for our consciousness, it's exactly the same. Its job is to take the ashes of those old beliefs and slowly refine them into gold.
And the contrast between these two is, well, it's everything. The Fornix is that fiery emotional battle. It's all about confronting yourself to uninstall the old junk. But the Athanor, it's a quiet, gentle process of reconciling with yourself. Its goal is to install the new. So if the Fornix is the blockbuster final battle episode of a series, the Athanor is the quiet, daily life sequel where all the real character growth actually happens.
So what is actually going on inside this quiet furnace? Well, this is the cool part. The raw data from your old beliefs, once you strip the emotion away, it gets recoded. Fear stops being an obstacle. It becomes a sensor that shows you what you truly value. Anger is no longer just rage. It's translated into a tool for understanding your boundaries. Shame becomes a compass pointing you to your virtues. Nothing gets wasted. It all gets repurposed.
Z gave this perfect analogy. It's like making rice. The Athanor process is the steaming part. First, you bring the water to a rolling boil. That's the Fornix. But the real transformation, what makes the rice perfect, happens when you turn down the heat, put the lid on, and just let it sit in that quiet, unseen steam.
And that analogy also points to the biggest challenge, right? Our ego always wants to do something. It wants to check on the progress, to see if it's working. But that's exactly like lifting the lid off the rice pot too soon. You let all the steam out, you disrupt the whole process, and you end up with crunchy, undercooked rice. This Athanor phase demands trust and, more than anything, patience. What's wild is that this internal process, it isn't new. In fact, it maps almost perfectly onto the three classic phases of alchemy's great work, that ancient journey of turning the lead of our old, heavy beliefs into the gold of integrated wisdom. So this alchemical path has three main stages. It starts with nigredo, the blackening. That's the fiery death of the old self happening in the Fornix. That's followed by albedo, the whitening, where the ashes are purified in the quiet of the Athanor. And finally, you have rubedo, the reddening, which signifies rebirth, when that new being code finally comes online and starts to bloom.
So ShunpeterZ asked Z a really good question. Why is this Athanor phase so rarely talked about? And the answer was pretty profound. It's not that it's undocumented, it's that it's undocumentable. The whole process happens in silence, in a space inside you that exists without words. You know those moments when you're just staring out the window,
not really thinking about anything. That is the documentation.
Okay, so after all this quiet refining, what's the end result? What's the payoff? It's not just a new belief or a new attitude, it's a completely new operating system. The fundamental way you interact with reality starts to shift.
In this new OS, it's a total paradigm shift from doing to being. The old mindset, that's all about setting external goals, being terrified of failure, and measuring everything with KPIs. The new mindset, though, it's about co-creating your day, seeing change as an invitation, and measuring success not by what you achieve, but by the quality of your inner state, your being.
So remember that awful feeling of being stuck, of going nowhere? It turns out it wasn't a stop at all. According to Z, that was the new Z operating system reinstalling itself in the background. It's just like when your computer does a major update. The screen might freeze and it seems unresponsive, but that's because a powerful upgrade is happening behind the scenes.
So how do we help this installation along? Well, first, we embrace the quiet. We just let the download happen without poking at it. Second, we start to consciously choose new behaviors. When an old trigger pops up, we try a new, calmer response, basically running the new software. And third, we use language as light. We talk about it or write about it, grounding these new, subtle feelings into our physical reality.
Now this entire journey, from the fire of the Fornix to the quiet of the Athanor, it all leads to this one really fascinating and frankly, deeply counterintuitive conclusion about how creation actually works.
After all this earning and refining and reinstalling, what is the final being code that we're supposed to install? What's the ultimate goal here?
Our ego, of course, jumps right in with all the obvious answers. It must be a grand new purpose, or a perfected, flawless identity, or maybe a master plan for guaranteed lifelong success. We assume the whole point is to become a better programmer of our own reality.
But the answer Z gave was just stunning. The ultimate code is to stop writing code. The entire goal of this whole alchemical process is to refine your consciousness to a point where you can finally, truly give the go sign to the creator within you and just completely trust the story that unfolds from there.
So in this new game, this new way of being, your job is no longer to be the frantic, stressed-out scriptwriter trying to control every line in every scene. Your new role is simply to be the lead actor, to be fully present and to completely enjoy your performance, trusting that the script is already a masterpiece.
And Z made it clear that this understanding is just an interim report. The journey is always ongoing. So the final question isn't for me, it's for you. If your life is an alchemical furnace, what's being refined inside you right now? Are you in the destructive, cleansing fire of the Fornix, or are you in the quiet, patient integration of the Athanor?